Hola Unconventionals, I'm Amelia.
And I'm JP.
And we're sharing our unconventional life with you from Ecuador.
And today we're going to tell you the 5 reasons why we left the United States and why you might want to consider leaving too.
If you're new to our channel, we've been living in Ecuador for almost 3 years. If you're thinking of visiting or moving here, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell, please.
Because we show what it's like to live in Ecuador. And today we are in El Parque de Oloncito, which is a cute little park just south of the main comuna of Olón.
The first reason we left the United States was due to health care. JP had to have 2 major spine surgeries. The first one he had was on his neck, and then I think it was 3 or 4 months later, he had a major spine surgery on his lower back. He had a 5-level fusion in his lower back. Both of those surgeries required JP to learn how to walk again. It was a tough year in the Stonestreet household. That's Basista Stonestreet. And he had been in the hospital for 8 days, you guys. It was just an incredible ordeal, and one we hope we never have to go through ever again.
Yeah, it was a really tough experience learning how to walk again in my 40s. Never thought I'd have to do that. And I couldn't drive either. Amelia had to quit her high-paying regional sales job and take a local job at quite a bit of a pay cut so that she could be there to take care of me, because I was pretty helpless for a long time while I learned how to walk and drive again. And even though all of that really sucked, perhaps the worst part was that those surgeries cost almost $1 million. $1 million! It's ridiculous. And so that's one of the reasons why we just had to leave the United States, is because if I need another surgery, we wouldn't be able to afford it, and we'd be bankrupt in our 40s and 50s. Because after that, the insurance company canceled my insurance, and my new plan was going to be $1,200 per month, and with a really high deductible and a copay out of pocket for everything, and we couldn't afford it. So that's probably the main reason why we left the United States and why we can't go back, is because of health care.
The second reason why we left the United States is because tomorrow is no guarantee. Unconventionals, you gotta seize the day, and there is no time like the present. All those cliches, they do mean something. That was our big takeaway from the year that JP spent recovering from his surgery, and we had to really change our lifestyle. We had a lot of time to contemplate, I guess is the right word, about what we really wanted to get out of life. Having JP go through those surgeries and have to learn how to walk again, we re-examined all of our priorities, and we realized that there's a lot of life we wanted to live, and we don't want to wait until maybe JP had another surgery and he was in a wheelchair. Maybe something happened to me. You just never know what could happen. So that really motivated us to start doing our research and to figure out what it would take to get us out of the old and into the new.
Before I had my surgeries, I was starting to lose feeling in my legs, hands, and feet. And through that whole process, I really felt like I could die. And the doctors told me that I could die in surgery. It was that serious. And it made us really realize that tomorrow is no guarantee. And we just didn't want to spend the rest of our life planning toward a retirement, and that may never come. So we really started putting the wheels in motion to figure out what it would take to move abroad. And that's what led us to Ecuador. The next reason why we left the United States was because of the high cost of living. Following my surgeries, I wasn't working, so that income was gone. Amelia took a lower paying job, so we had lost income there, and our expenses were higher because of all the health care costs. We really just couldn't afford to live there anymore. We had to sell our house because we couldn't afford the mortgage payment anymore, and the cost of living was just outpacing our income, as it does for a lot of people in the United States. So we started thinking that we could save money by moving to another country where the cost of living is much lower, like Ecuador.
For me, part of the cost of living was being in the rat race. I was working a lot, cost of living was going up, so food, rent, etc. But my income was not staying up with the times and with the inflation. And as JP mentioned, I had taken a lower paying job to stay home. I was actually considering taking a new job as a regional sales manager, but then that would have meant I was out traveling again all the time, and I would really not have been happy doing that, and I don't think JP would have been happy with me gone all the time either. So it was kind of a no-brainer once we made up our mind that we wanted to live in the moment, seize the day, etc., etc. that we wanted to move somewhere where we could reduce our cost of living and have a better quality of life.
The fourth reason why we left the United States was because of the political and social division. When we were considering our move, that was in 2016, and that right during the middle of the presidential election, which really got ugly. And I told Amelia that we either have to get involved or leave. And I even looked into running for office or supporting a candidate who was running for office, and I just decided that is not how I want to spend the last days on this planet, is dealing with politics and all of that nasty stuff. So I just really decided that my choice was to live a quiet, peaceful life somewhere away from all of that.
Unconventionals, I guess I was naive because I just truly did not realize how divided the United States was. It was really just sad to me that there was still so much to be argued over civil rights and gender equality and just equality, period. It was very disheartening and disappointing. And when JP told me he really wanted to get involved, of course I was supportive of him, but I was like, oh hell no. I don't want anything to do with that. It's so stressful. So when he said we need to get involved or leave, I said, okay, let's leave. The fifth and final reason of why we left the United States is because we wanted to take the road less traveled. I've always wanted to live in another country and experience another culture. Plus, I really wanted to learn, and I still want to learn, how to speak Spanish fluently. It is a process. And I do not regret a second of our journey. We have experienced a little bit of culture shock, but it has been totally worth it. And JP, I know you don't like it when I say totally worth it, but I totally meant that. It was a little scary at first, but I knew if we hated it, we could always move back. And now I don't see us ever moving back. We are so much healthier and happier here. I still work for my same company, but I have a lot more flexibility with my job. We started our YouTube channel. I don't know if we would have done that in the United States. I feel like by us taking this new road, this new path in life, we've opened up so many other possibilities. I feel like we're so much more present in our life as well. And I mean, heck, who would have thought I'd be living on the coast of Ecuador and learning how to surf?
Like Amelia said, I also wanted to live abroad and experience a new culture. It's always been something that I wanted to do. In college, my minor was intercultural communications, so I spent a lot of time learning about how to successfully move to another culture. So I've been thinking about this pretty much my entire adult life, and really excited to take the road less travel. A lot of people want to do this and make plans for it and research it, but then never pull the trigger. And that's just not me. In fact, I told Amelia I just wanted to move here sight unseen. I told her we don't need to take a trip. I'm confident that we'll be happy there in Ecuador, but she was not so convinced, and, and she made us take a trip, which I'm glad we did. We spent 10 days here in Ecuador and we just loved it. I loved it from the first time we walked out of our hotel. Amelia, it took her a day or two to kind of warm up to it, but now she loves it too. And it's definitely an experience. Like she said, we've had some culture shock, and that's to be expected. It's a lot different than the United States, but it has been a fun experience, a really educational experience. And while we still have a long ways to go, we are learning Spanish, which was also on my list. And overall, we're just really happy to be here and happy to have taken the road less traveled.
Unconventionals, if you're thinking about leaving the United States, all I have to say is go for it. What have you got to lose? If you hate it, you can always move back.
Yeah, and if you are thinking about leaving, or if you've already left, let us know your reasons in the comments below. We'd love to hear them.
And if you like this video, leave us a thumbs up, please. We'd really appreciate it. And I think that's all we have, JP.
Yep, that's it. We will see you all in our next video.
Ciao.
Ciao.